When you stop chasing, she starts wondering, and that's when the real power shifts. Silence speaks louder than words, especially when she realizes you're truly gone. The moment she notices your disinterest, her mind begins a silent battle she didn't expect. You don't need to fight for her attention. Just withdraw and let her feel the void. What happens when she realizes you've moved on? Her reaction reveals everything. What happens when she realizes you've lost interest? In unique words, when the spark you once gave her suddenly fades, and she senses you're no longer emotionally invested, something deep inside her shifts. It's not just surprise, it's a quiet internal earthquake. The comfort of knowing you were always there, attentive and eager, vanishes overnight. That stability, that predictability, gone, and in its place, uncertainty. That's where it begins. She's thrown off balance, not because she necessarily wanted to keep going, but because she thought she was in control of the pace, the direction, the outcome. Now, that control is slipping, and the first thing she feels is shock. A silent jolt that something has changed, even if she can't name it yet. From there, instinct kicks in. She starts seeking validation, not because she misses you deeply yet, but because losing your attention feels like losing influence. A simple, "Hey, how are you?" text isn't casual. It's a probe, a test. She's checking if you still react, if you still care, if you'll jump back into the old pattern of giving her your energy. But if you stay calm, if you don't rush to explain or defend your distance, something shifts in her mind. Curiosity takes over. She starts replaying memories, searching for clues. Did I take him for granted? Was he really as replaceable as I thought? Your absence becomes a mirror, reflecting back all the things she ignored when you were present. Her ego fights back. Pride tells her she doesn't need you, but emotion whispers something else. She might try to provoke you, mention others, act overly confident, or flirt indirectly. It's not confidence, it's insecurity, masked as indifference. And the best response? Nothing. Just steady silence, because here's the truth. Silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. It forces her to confront what she's losing. The more space you create, the louder your absence becomes. She starts noticing the little things. Your consistency, your calm, the way you made her feel seen. These qualities once overlooked, now echo in the quiet you left behind. Emotional tension builds, not because you're trying to win her back, but because you're not trying at all. That unpredictability, that mystery keeps you alive in her thoughts. A song, a place, a joke. Everything reminds her of what's missing. Eventually, curiosity turns into action. She reaches out, not because she's ready to commit, but because she can't stand not knowing where she stands. And this is your moment. Not to fall back into old habits, but to respond with calm confidence. Show her you've grown, that your worth isn't tied to her approval. Emotional control becomes your greatest strength. When she tests you, stay grounded. Don't react. Don't chase. Let your peace speak for you. That kind of maturity is rare and deeply attractive. And finally, the most powerful move of all, moving on with grace, not with anger, not with revenge, but with quiet strength. When she sees you building a life that doesn't revolve around her, it hits harder than any argument ever could. She begins to question her choices, to regret her actions, to realize what she took for granted. But by then, the power is no longer in her hands, it's in yours. To decide if she's earned a second chance, or if you've already found something better. Yourself, asterisk, asterisk. When she realizes you've truly lost interest. It triggers a deep psychological shift, not just in how she sees you, but in how she sees herself within the relationship. This moment is far more than emotional drama. It's a mirror being held up to her subconscious, and what she sees can either awaken genuine reflection or expose emotional immaturity. The difference lies in how she responds, and that response reveals everything At first, denial may set in. She might convince herself that your silence is temporary, that you're just going through something, or that you'll come around when you miss her enough. But as days pass and your detachment remains consistent, denial crumbles. That's when reality sinks in. You're not coming back the way you were. And that realization, it doesn't just sting, it destabilizes her sense of control, identity, and even self-worth. Because here's the truth. People don't miss others. They miss the version of themselves they were when they were with them. When you were present, attentive, and emotionally engaged. She likely felt desired, important, even powerful. Your withdrawal doesn't just remove you, it removes the emotional environment that made her feel that way. And now, she's left, searching for that feeling elsewhere, or worse, trying to reclaim it from you. This is where many men make the fatal mistake. They react. They see her sudden attention, a text, a call, a social media like, and they interpret it as a sign of love or regret. So they jump back in, pouring energy into rekindling what they thought was lost. But that's not power, that's desperation, masked as hope. Real power lies in restraint. By maintaining your emotional distance, you force her to confront the consequences of her actions or inaction. Did she take you for granted? Did she dismiss your feelings? Did she assume you'd always be there, no matter how she treated you? Now, she's left to answer those questions alone. And the more she reflects, the more she begins to idealize what's gone. But here's the deeper layer. Your silence doesn't just make her miss you. It makes her question her own judgment. She starts to wonder, was he really the one who wasn't trying? Or was I the one who failed to appreciate him? That internal conflict is where true transformation begins. Not because you manipulated her, but because you allowed space for honesty, both for her and for yourself. And while she's caught in this loop of regret and curiosity, you're doing something far more important. Rebuilding your set. You're investing in your goals, your peace, your growth. You're becoming someone who doesn't need validation from someone who once made you feel small. That evolution, quiet, consistent, and unshaken, is what leaves a lasting imprint. Eventually, if she reaches out, don't rush to fill the silence. Let your presence speak through your absence. Let your confidence be the contrast to the chaos she once created. Respond with warmth, but without urgency. Show interest, but don't pursue, because now the dynamic has flipped, not through games, but through growth. In the end, it doesn't matter if she comes back. What matters is that you no longer define your worth by her attention. That you've learned the most powerful lesson of all. The strongest move you can make is to walk away with your dignity intact and never look back.